Set in a post-apocalyptic era, the entire surface of the Earth is now buried under thick layers of snow, with outdoor temperatures reaching hundreds of degrees below zero, cold enough to freeze a living being in minutes. It is said that this apocalypse was caused by humanity itself. Prior to the catastrophe, humans created a chemical called CW7, designed to reduce global temperatures in an effort to reverse the effects of global warming. Scientists predicted CW7 would stabilize the planet's climate, but unexpectedly, the very device they had engineered to save the world became the cause of its destruction. Shortly after CW7 was dispersed into the atmosphere, the Earth began to freeze, and life on the planet was wiped out almost instantly. In the midst of this disaster, a small group of humans boarded a train, their only hope for survival. The train, named the Snowpiercer, has been continuously moving across the globe for 17 years. It's run by an engineer named Wilford, who also owns the train. With its perpetual engine, the Snowpiercer is designed to never stop, endlessly circling the frozen planet. The story focuses on the tail section of the train, where living conditions are grim and suffocating. Dozens of people are crammed into a tight space. To rest, they sleep stacked on top of each other. Every day, they are fed a single protein bar that tastes awful, almost like garbage, but it's their only means of survival. Adding to their suffering, the guards who routinely conduct inspections are brutal. They see the tail section passengers as less than human, disposable. Among the passengers is a man named Curtis Everett. He's become the unspoken leader of the group. Beside him is Gilliam, a respected elder who Curtis sees as a father figure. It's revealed that they've been planning a revolution, an uprising that will take them from the tail section to the very front of the train, where they hope to confront Wilford himself. They also have a mysterious informant who occasionally sends them messages. One such message instructs them to break into the prison section, located just a few cars away from where they are, so they can free a man named Nam-gung Minsu. Nam-gung is said to be the person who designed the security systems on all the train's doors, and he's their only hope of advancing through the train. One day, the guards arrive with a woman and demand that all the children be gathered for a health inspection. The woman inspects each child's body and selects the two smallest. Sensing something suspicious, the passengers attempt to resist and retrieve the children, but they are powerless against the guards' overwhelming force and weaponry. The two children are taken away with no clear explanation as to why, though it's obvious their purpose won't be good. Following the incident, Curtis and his companions grow even more determined to rebel. They begin collecting unused metal barrels and stacking them into a long makeshift battering ram. Their plan is to use the structure during the next inspection to block the door from closing. However, they all fear one thing: the guards' guns. The firearms are the single biggest threat to their uprising. But Curtis has a different theory. He believes the guns are no longer loaded. Years ago, during an earlier rebellion, some passengers had already risen up. Curtis suspects that the guards used up all their remaining bullets during that time, and that bullets may now be extinct. To find out whether his theory is true, Curtis decides to test it when the next inspection takes place. As the inspection begins, they quickly hide the metal ram at the back. Curtis steps forward, grabs a gun from a guard, and pulls the trigger.
Curtis, come on. We're out of time, mate. They've got no bullets!
The gun clicks, empty. His suspicion was correct. With that confirmation, the passengers immediately lift the metal ram and charge forward, smashing through the door to the next car. After overpowering the guards inside, they take control of the next few cars and free all the prisoners, including Nam-gung, who becomes their key to moving forward. Nam-gung is seen with 2 cigarette butts and a box of matches, items that have become rare luxuries since the world froze. He also has a daughter named Yona, who is 17 years old. It's likely that she was born aboard the train. Nam-gung offers a deal. For every door he opens, he wants 2 pieces of a substance called cronol as payment. Cronol is an industrial waste product that has addictive and flammable properties, with a strong, intoxicating odor. Yona, meanwhile, possesses a unique gift. She can sense how many people are standing behind a door. When she says there's no one behind one particular door, they open it and confirm she was right. Suddenly, the windows in that section reveal a view they haven't seen in 17 years, an endless world of snow stretching out to the horizon. After taking in the frozen landscape, the group proceeds to open the next train car. There, they encounter a worker, a man who used to live in the tail section and was once friends with Curtis. It's revealed that this car is where the protein bars are made, and what shocks them most is the ingredients: cockroaches. Thousands of the insects are ground down into a paste and molded into bars. This discovery explains why the food has always tasted terrible, like refuse. They then receive another message instructing them to seize the water supply car, located several cars ahead of their current position. It is one of the most vital sections of the train, and if they manage to take control of it, they will have the upper hand over the entire train. As they press forward, Yona warns them once again. She senses danger behind the next door, and sure enough, when they force it open, they are met by an army of guards armed with axes and spears. However, Curtis and the others are undeterred. In fact, their spirits burn even stronger. As the confrontation begins, chaos erupts between the tail section passengers and the guards, turning the train car into a violent battleground soaked in blood. Not long after, a woman named Minister Mason arrives. She holds a high-ranking position within the train's hierarchy. She coldly announces that 74% of the tail section population must die to preserve the train's population balance. Unbeknownst to Curtis and the others, their battle car is about to enter a long tunnel. Suddenly, the entire car goes completely dark, plunging the rebels into total blindness. Unlike them, the guards are equipped with night vision gear, giving them a deadly advantage in the darkness. One by one, Curtis's allies begin to fall. But then Curtis remembers something. Earlier, Namgung had handed a box of matches to a young boy in the tail section. Curtis rushes back to ask the others to send light forward. The passengers respond quickly, delivering torches that blaze through the darkness. With the battlefield illuminated again, the tide turns. The rebels strike back and overpower the guards. They successfully take Minister Mason hostage and force her to order the fighting to stop. The tail section passengers have won the battle, and they've also secured the water supply car, one of the train's most vital sections. But victory comes at a heavy price, as many of Curtis's comrades have died. They interrogate Mason, asking where the two children taken earlier have been taken. Unfortunately, Mason has no answers. She tells them the woman who took the children was Wilford's personal assistant and likely brought them to the front engine car, where Wilford resides. This means Curtis and the others must reach Wilford himself. In exchange for sparing her life, Mason promises to guide them forward. For the next stage of the journey, only a few can continue. The others stay behind, exhausted from the previous battle. As the group moves ahead, they pass through a greenhouse car filled with fresh vegetables and fruit, something Yona has never seen before. The next car is an aquarium, home to various fish, seaweed, and marine life. Here they're served sushi, the best food they've eaten in 17 years. The journey continues through a meat locker, followed by a classroom filled with children. During the lesson, the teacher leads the students in worshiping Wilford as humanity's savior. Then the children gather by the window to witness something disturbing. It's revealed that 15 years ago, 7 people attempted to leave the train. But after walking only a few meters, they all froze to death almost instantly. Today marks the 18th year of life aboard the train, and in celebration, hard-boiled eggs are distributed to passengers, including those in the tail section, a rare gesture. However, hidden inside some of the eggs are loaded firearms. Suddenly, chaos erupts again as the teacher and her associates open fire, killing several rebels. Curtis narrowly survives the ambush and manages to subdue the attackers. He then watches in horror as a live broadcast from the rear of the train shows Gilliam being executed on camera. Enraged, Curtis immediately kills Minister Mason. Despite the tragedy, their mission remains: to reach the front of the train. The group continues, entering a car full of private sleeping quarters for the train's elite, completely different from the misery of the tail section. Then they pass through a nightclub and a beauty salon, where passengers indulge in luxury. Meanwhile, guards behind them give chase. After passing a swimming pool car, Curtis and the others are ambushed again. They enter a sauna car, and a brutal fight breaks out. Though they defeat many guards, one man in a gray shirt proves nearly unstoppable. He kills 2 more of Curtis's allies and beats Curtis to the ground. Just as he's about to strike again, Nam Gung intervenes. Despite his age, he manages to overpower the man after a fierce struggle. Emotionally shattered and mentally exhausted, Curtis realizes he can't let his friends' deaths be in vain. He must keep moving forward. Only 3 train cars remain. The next 2 are filled with people partying and inhaling cronol, a potent industrial waste-turned drug. Curtis ignores the chaos, but Nam Gung and Yona take the opportunity to collect as much cronol as they can. They finally reach the final car, the engine room. Beyond a massive metal door lies Wilford's private chamber. While they rest, Nam Gung confides in Curtis. He reveals he doesn't want to open the engine room door. He wants to open a different door, the one leading outside. Curtis is stunned, but Nam Gung has a theory. Years ago, he began observing a jet plane buried in snow near a bridge the train passes once a year. Over time, more and more of the plane's body has become visible. This, he believes, is evidence that the snow is melting and temperatures are warming. In other words, the Earth may be habitable again. Meanwhile, the cronol they had been collecting all this time was being prepared to blow open the door. By nature, cronol is a highly flammable industrial chemical, and with such a large amount it could cause a massive explosion. However, to ignite it, a flame was needed. The problem was, Curtis was holding the match, and he didn't agree with the plan. Just then, a woman stepped out from behind the engine door and shot Nam Gung, wounding him. She told Curtis that he was expected inside, and so Curtis finally entered the engine room, where he came face to face with Wilford, the train's creator and conductor. Wilford was calmly grilling 2 steaks for dinner, inviting Curtis to join him at the table. But after everything that had happened, Curtis had no appetite. The 2 of them began a conversation, and what Wilford revealed was deeply unsettling. It turned out that Wilford and Gilliam had been working together all along. The messages sent to the tail section, the ones believed to be from an ally, were actually orchestrated by Wilford himself. The rebellion had been part of a controlled plan to maintain population balance on the train. According to Wilford, the uprising was intended to reduce the train's population by having passengers kill each other, leaving only a few survivors. The battle in the tunnel, he claimed, was supposed to be the endpoint. Curtis and the others were meant to be wiped out during that fight, but because they won, and even took control of the water supply car, Wilford's front section passengers suffered greater losses than anticipated. Because Gilliam deviated from the plan and let the rebellion go too far, Wilford had him executed. Wilford then made Curtis an offer. He wanted Curtis to take over his role as the train's new leader. Wilford confessed that he was getting too old to continue running the train. To him, the train was the world, and its passengers were the last of humanity. Without leadership, he believed people would descend into chaos and self-destruction. Wilford saw Curtis as the ideal replacement, the first person ever to make it from the tail to the engine. Meanwhile, Yona had regained consciousness and discovered that her father, Nam Gung, was badly wounded. Suddenly, people from the previous cars began surrounding them. Realizing that they were out of time, they knew they had to detonate the explosive and escape the train. But first, they needed the match Curtis was holding. Following her father's instructions, Yona carefully rewired a control panel and successfully opened the large side door leading outside. When the armed woman stepped out, Yona struck her, knocking her unconscious. She then placed the bomb by the door and rushed into the engine room to find Curtis. Inside, Yona noticed something odd beneath the floor and discovered a small boy hidden there. It was one of the 2 children taken from the tail section earlier. She learned the horrifying truth. The children were being used as replacements for worn-out parts in the engine system, manually clearing debris in tight spaces too small for adults. Curtis was enraged. He attacked Wilford and knocked him unconscious. Then, seeing the trapped child, he reached into the engine's gears and used his own arm to force the machinery apart, allowing the child to escape. Bleeding and exhausted, he handed the match to Yona. Curtis's sacrifice caused the engine to falter. At the same time, Another child emerged from a drawer and quietly climbed back into the control chamber, after which the engine temporarily stabilized. After lighting the bomb's fuse, Yona returned to the chamber where Curtis, Namgung, and the rescued children were. Namgung tried to shut the side door to protect them from the blast, but the mechanism was damaged and could no longer close. Realizing there was no escape, the four of them embraced each other, just as the chronole ignited. The explosion triggered a massive avalanche that slammed into the train, derailing it completely. All the train cars were torn apart and flung across the icy landscape. In the aftermath, it appeared that all the passengers aboard had perished, except for two survivors, Yona and the young boy, Timmy. Namgung's theory had been right all along. The outside temperature had become survivable. After being trapped aboard a train for 17 years, humanity had finally touched the Earth once again. As Yona and Timmy stepped onto the snowy ground, they noticed a creature in the distance, a polar bear. Somehow, it had survived the apocalypse. Its presence proved that life still existed and that the Earth was once again habitable. And so, the film ends.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. Because by subscribing, you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.